evening, Africa. Welcome to This Is African Football, where, of course, we take you through what has been happening during the week as far as the beautiful game is concerned on the African continent. Looking forward to some mouth-watering topics tonight. There is, of course, the CAF presidential race that is coming up next year. Some big names throwing their names in the hat there. Looking as well at what is happening with some movement as far as players are concerned. Who thought that Alex Song would be coming back to play in Africa? FC Pyramids, we know, full of money, the Pyramids team, as well after one of the better players coming up from Italy, Mario Balotelli. Then yes, Orlando Pirates as well, looking to see. Jeff will tell us more about that, what is happening with the Congolese international that is joining Orlando Pirates. Then, of course, there are the qualifiers. I think they've started so many results that we're going to share with you. Stay tuned. I'm not alone. I'm with the and trusted comrades that are here with me to share and dissect what is about to happen on this show. Of course, it is Jeff Katala. I think if you talk about the encyclopedia of African football, he's here. You don't need to Google if you want to know anything about African football. He is Mr. Google African football himself. Of course, former Super Eagles goalkeeper Greg Itafia is here. And last but not least, Mr. Timothy Batabayero, all the way from Uganda. Of course, former Uganda international player. Gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to the show. Jeff Katala, starting with you, seeing what has happened now with this race for CAF presidents, where a lot of people have thrown their names into the hat. But I think it might come up as maybe a surprise when the likes of Patrice Motsepe indicated that they want to run this race.
It is. I was very shocked when I heard about Patrice Motsepe wanted to throw his hand in the hat to try to do something to stand for the election within CAF. And for me, I found that it was a very, very bad move, because when you go for CAF for such a big position like that, you need to do your lobbying even before 1 year, 2 years before. We do have COSAFA, we do have SAFA Club and SAFA Nations, we do have WAFU, we do have ECAS tournament in Central Africa, and they had to send people invoice to convince, the stakeholders in terms of football that we will be announcing the candidacy of Patrice Motsepe. But the way they washed, it's just someone has been pushing him, but pushing him like that, he won't stand, because he's not someone who has been within FA. Because I always say that when you run a club, it's not the same thing as running a confederation. It is huge. Yes, I know that people will say that Alexander Seferin, the president of UEFA, we didn't know much about him, but not just because he's not very shrewd in terms of football, but he comes from a country, Slovenia, which is not known as a powerhouse in terms of football. But he's someone who has been working within UEFA for a very long time before he comes up like that. So for Motsepe, I don't think that was a very good move for him to try, because there are big guns that will be gunning for his head as well.
Jeff says he doesn't think that it was a good move for Patrice Motsepe to enter into the fray. I'm not sure, Greg Itafia, the way that Jeff has, put it to us, that looking at his inexperience in football, yes, he's involved. He's a president, the owner of Mamelodi Sundowns Football Club, and they've been successful, Sundowns. Yeah. You look at his vision that he's had when he bought Sundowns, and maybe you might say, look, he can stand a chance. He's been in football, and he has enjoyed some success with this club. So why not? Why can't he be the CAF president?
I just feel like, for me, it's a little bit too late for him, and even his press conference wasn't there. So that really shows something, that, someone, as Jeff said, someone is really pushing him, or some FA are pushing him to contest. But there's a lot of big guns that he's going to contest against, and which have been doing this for a long time. For him, you have to be in football, in terms of in club or the FA. more than 5 years. You know, he has been there. You know, they have won Champions League, they have done well in the league.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really mean, you know, he can go for that CAF, because there's a lot of, check the Moroccan side, you know, and I'm very surprised. Amadou Pinnick, which was saying, I mean, for a very long time, he was, you know, saying that he's in a contest, All of a sudden, he's throwing his weight behind Motsepe. So there's something behind the move. But for me, I mean, if you feel he has a chance, you know, but I just think it's very late. It's too late now.
Tim, the gentlemen on our left are saying that they feel it's a bit too late. But now, for a person of Motsepe's caliber, whom we know, I mean, his pedigree in business, would you think that he would make a miscalculated move to join this race late? Does he know something that we don't know? Because I'm sure he would have assessed the situation on the ground. And I'm sure there are some people really that are begging him to say that we feel you can win it. Things are unpredictable when it comes to politics in African football. Yes, there are some other candidates as well that are there. But looking at Motsepe and also the likes of Amadou Pinnick, really throwing their weight behind him. Aisha Johansen, Sierra Leone, you know, FA president, very influential lady as well. Yes, all these, they are coming up and say it's time that Ahmad be shown the door. And the person that we want is Motsepe.
First and foremost, the name Motsepe, and then it comes the candidature of his caliber. I think Etafia, Jeff, we should be excited that he permitted the South African Football Association to nominate him as a candidate. If we ever have a chances of having transparency and good leadership on the African continent in terms of football, we should welcome his candidature. Now, when we talk about his experience on the African continent, I beg to disagree. If we have a good leader, it means the institutions will be functional. I disagree that those people who have been long into the administration of football on the African continent can take us far, because they are part of the dead wood that we want to ship out. The robbing that is taking place, we may not be privy to it, but at this moment in time, if you look at COSAFA, SECAFA, and the few, the likes of Pinnick, we all knew that he was about to stand and saying, listen, we need to support Motsepe. Issa Johansen, with what she has been through with her federation coming on board. These are influential people. They were very influential to make sure that Hamad became the CAF president. And now they're saying, let's try something else. There was also a rumor that Dangote was also lobbied to try and come on board to be the CAF president. Maybe he turned it down. Now, these are some of the African billionaires. So we are talking about the influence that they have when it comes to sponsorship of the federation. So at this moment in time, join me in celebrating his candidature. Let's Robbie to see that Motsepe can take the helm of African football.
Let me tell you that, you know, it's not just because you've got a lot of money that you will do better.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. If I take the example of FIFA in 1974, when Joao Avalanche was challenging Matthew Russ from England, the former president of FIFA, he was in a known quantity, but he used to work in football for a very long time. And the same applies to Issa Hayatou. Issa Hayatou is not a football man. He was an athletic and an athletic person. And he was the president, the chairman of the Federation of Athletics in Cameroon. But he was much informed about football. Yes, and that's why he put there. He was also much, because the former president, Nekechute Tesema, because for me, that's the best. He's the best president CAF has never had. He wanted to form. He groomed him to become the next president. And look, the CAF that we have today is the heritage of Issa Hayatou. So he didn't have money. So it's not because of Dangote. It's not because of
It's not because of money. I think those names coming on board. It was not because of money. We are having individuals who are saying, can we try to lead this federation? That is CAF. Now, we are looking at their success story outside football. Can they share that success story with football? Remember, we are struggling when it comes to the leadership on African continent. We don't have
because
transparency.
we don't do a proper due diligence.
Let me
because we're going with the same ExCo members, we're going with the very same, all commissions still the same.
No,
we don't do anything about it.
Okay, let me bring in Greg here. Motsepe obvious that it's likely that, things can improve as far as sponsorship is concerned, as far as money is concerned. Does African football right now need money, or we need people that you can say your football personalities, but at the same time we are struggling when it comes to attracting, really major sponsorship? Because at the moment, that's what Motsepe could bring, and maybe that's what is lacking. Yes, there's other issues as well. If you look at the Ahmad administration, even under Isayatu, there were huge concerns of him being a dictator, someone who could not let go until the other people, especially from Southern Africa, it started here in the Kosafa region, where they said enough is enough. Yes. So now with Motsepe coming, and like we said, that it's not in doubt what he has done in terms of wherever he is, success tends to follow him. So wouldn't he do the same if he's elected president of CAF?
Yeah, Mr. Laster, the way you put it now, I think he can do more in terms of, first of all, in Africa, in certain region or in terms of the whole Africa, we don't want Champions League, like freely, like we watch the European champion in TV, which we're supposed to have. The rights we're supposed to have, we don't have it. Except the North Africans there. They enjoy the Champions League, the Confederations Cup, all this tournament, and which is our big tournament. We were always happy when Sundowns won it last time. Yes. We were very happy. But this time I haven't watched any single game apart from you go to internet or you go to where you can get it.
Some parts of Africa cannot even watch.
But even just for example, you want to watch the South African League apart from from DSTV. Not everyone will buy DSTV. Some people need the free to air China to watch it. So it's difficult. And so Motsepe, that's where he comes in. In terms of his business, in terms of what he have done, you see where he took Sundowns from and where Sundowns is now. The number one in South Africa. I think he can bring a lot of things. He can bring a lot of things in terms.
I'm sure he can.
What we are saying now is he hasn't been in that in and out. When you go to CAF, it's a different ball game. When small.
What is important here is, let's not go into those intricate matters, whether it's inside or not.
Team is very important for you to know in and out.
No, what is important?
Because you cannot go into CAF. You cannot be a member. You cannot be a member of the CAF. Now you want to be the president. So where do you start from?
We are looking for leadership. Now we have got people who are lobbying for him, who have been inside CAF. Now, any other leader will have to come up with a cabinet that is responsible to make sure that they help him be a true leader. Now, what we are looking at this moment in time, we have got a candidate who has got a name to protect, first and foremost.
Yeah.
Now, we know all the scandals, all the mother of corruption is within CAF.
Yeah.
So we need somebody who can change that. However, I'm also skeptical about the voting bloc because they are part of that deadwood. Will they embrace this new change?
That's the thing.
We need to change.
Talking about the voting bloc, Jeff Katala. Now, if you look at where Patrice Motsepe is coming from, he's coming from the Kosafa region. Kosafa already had endorsed Ahmad. Now we are seeing this division, and it looks like SAFA, of course, through their president, Denny Joran, really strongly pushing for the candidates of Patrice Motsepe. What does it say about Kosafa? And Botswana as well, I think they are also throwing their weight around Motsepe. But again, it's a divided CAF, and it's not surprising because we saw in 2026, the World Cup bidding. Again, there were divisions within CAF and within also the whole of the CAF confederation. Yes,
true. When it comes, it shows you that things have been rushed. For me, they could have taken people from Motsepe entourage and from SAFA to go first of all to Kosafa, sit with Chinyangwa, and talk with them that this is the person we want to propose as our representative for CAF election. And they didn't do that. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, that they should have gone to those regional competition, Kosafa, Sekafa, Wafu, Ekas, to try to get some more, because those are the president of the federation who are going to come, who will be to cast the vote. So they could have convinced them first than rushing to present him. And also, that was also a slap, it's disrespect. He's been announced, but he's not even there. He's not even on Zoom.
Talking about the campaigning, Greg Itafia, already the SAFA president, Danny Jordan, says that he's on his way on a campaign trail, and his first stop as well is Morocco. Now, the relationship between Morocco and South Africa, tell us more about that. Can they get that vote of Morocco, looking at what happened at the 2026 pit?
They will never get it. They will never get it.
What do you think of that? Because he says that he
honest,
wants to go and try
To be honest, Morocco,
to make amends.
to be honest, he's going to be late. It's late now, and
it's
it's
never
never
late.
Do you
late.
think Morocco,
It's
do you
never
think
late.
Morocco
can vote for Motsepe?
It's
No.
never late.
No,
No.
You
no,
don't think so?
I don't think so.
Do you think that Danny Jordan can convince the Moroccans to change their mind? Because it's obvious. If you look at how Ahmad came in, you look at so many of these symposiums that happened initially in his presidency. And it looks like there's a strong relationship between Morocco and Ahmad. But now, South Africa needs Morocco. Yes.
So Ahmad is trying to repair it.
Would-
It was a little bit broken.
And
you
also,
know?
the other issue is there's always been concerns from the North that South Africa, if we give them so much prominence and power, they might even relocate the headquarters of CAF from Egypt to here.
They say that South Africans
Yes,
South
that
African
South
are very,
Africa most
are,
likely
are very
planning.
arrogant.
So there hasn't been that trust from North Africa about what South Africa could be. It looks like South Africa has always been a threat to them.
Yes, it's a credible threat. They are the only African country that has hosted the World Cup. That's true. And then we have Morocco that believes they are half Africans and half Europeans. So whoever takes the share at this moment in time, we can call them as Africans, but they don't believe they truly belong here. So when you go to Morocco, Morocco is one of the small voting bloc. Definitely they're going to give free training grounds, finances, and everything to try and woo the support. But we are looking at the composition of COSAFA, SECAFA, and then WAFU. Where will their inclination, where will it be? When Jordan says we want to try and engage Morocco, they recognize the role they are playing in determining who can become the CAF president. Can there be a compromise? Can they strike a compromise that, listen, this is what you are looking for. We can provide this with proper leadership.
It's late now.
They could have done that because for the voting for the World Cup, it is very political. It's not about football because the Western Sahara, the Western Sahara was also involved.
Yes. Exactly.
That's one of the reasons South Africa couldn't vote for Morocco for the 2026 World Cup. On that level of a political level, it is already a lost vote for South Africa. Morocco will never vote for South Africa for now.
Yeah,
They will not.
maybe it can
They will
change.
not.
So
maybe they can change,
So
but
maybe
That's why there's need for that engagement to strike a compromise.
Yeah,
It's
no.
very important.
maybe that flight ticket to Morocco, he might need to change the president of
and
SAFA.
Morocco has
Look,
given a lot of money to
it
African
might
countries.
be-
huh?
it
Yeah,
might
but
be
they
a
don't
waste of
recognize
time.
that. They didn't vote.
And the king, yes, the king is involved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the recognition of the fact that we did not vote for them as a bloc to qualify for the World Cup. It means we can always be influenced. African federations, they have always been influenced by finances.
Okay, but what about other candidates as well, Jeff, that we can look out for that might actually even, get to the throne, the highest office?
There's Jack Anuma.
Yes.
Jack Anuma is a very strong candidate because he's been the most challenger of Issa Hayatou, though he has never been given that chance to be voted, and that's why they didn't want him even in the EXCO committee and EXCO as an EXCO member, just because he was too powerful. Actually, he was going to overthrow, as they put it before, Issa Hayatou. But we also have Mohamed Aya. Mohamed Aya, he's the candidate of Infantino, they're pushing him actually to try to topple Ahmad. Ahmad, who was also pushed by Infantino, he's now at the exit door. The Mauritanian one, Mohamed Aya.
Yeah.
So he's also there. But there's also another one, and this is where Morocco, you know, the faith of Morocco will be tested. Augustin Senghor, the president of Senegalese FA, he's a very good friend of Lekja, who's the president of Morocco FA. So we will see how it's gonna. Who will be?
Okay, we will see how it is going to pan out. Maybe
given all those candidates.
As you can see, it's anyone's game. Anyone can rise to the throne. The incumbent is still there. We all know how difficult it is for the incumbents to just easily give away, you know, their positions. But yeah, the ones that need to be elected, they've got everything to do to make sure that, yeah, come the 12th of March, 2021, maybe we'll see a new president. Maybe it was Dr. Patrice Motsepe. We don't know, or it will remain Ahmad. You can tell us what you think regarding this race that we all thought at the beginning it was only one person unopposed.
How's his manifesto?
Yeah, no, I'm sure he's going to unveil his manifesto, and so. But we're also glad to announce, guys, that the president Ahmad as well discharged from the hospital. Yeah. He, of course, you know, he was also suffering from COVID. So yeah, ready to go for the race. There he is at the right time. He has been, you know, discharged from hospital.